Hey everybody, Nikki here, host of Army Studios. Let's talk about the Pixel 6. All right, the Pixel 6, everybody. Who's excited? Leave a comment if you're excited. I'm super hyped for this phone. So as everybody probably knows, the Google Twitter account released some teases for the Pixel 6. I'm sure you've seen all the pictures already. You know, I don't need to make you any more familiar with that. But what I want to do is not necessarily talk about the Pixel 6 and the new hardware and the new camera and the new Google Tensor chip processor, but talk about kind of the outer lying implications that that processor has on the rest of the Google, quote, ecosystem, because I'll talk about that in a second too. First things first, let's define ecosystem. Everybody is using the word ecosystem. Samsung uses it, Huawei uses it, everybody uses it, thinking that we make things, so therefore it ecosystem, and that is not how it works. An ecosystem in the Apple terminology, which is what everybody refers to, is, yes, the software shares with each other. iMessage is the same on both your iPad and your iPhone. You've got photo share, you've got AirDrop, all that stuff. But AirDrop, the A1 chip, the M1 processor, all that stuff, the underlying aspect to those pieces of technology, like being able to share your AirPods between devices, or devices understanding who you are and where your location is, or being able to, like that sort of thing. That's a true ecosystem. Not necessarily just Google Photos is on the computer and a phone. It's an ecosystem. That's not how it works. But I really think that this new Tensor processor is opening up Google's current lineup of devices to become a true ecosystem. They've already done a great job with software, but they've really been lacking in hardware because they just don't have as much control. So for example, say whether it needs to be upscaled or downscaled, imagine a Tensor processor or a Tensor Mini or a Tensor something in the next Pixel Buds, the next Nest Hub, the current one that has sleep sensing. Imagine if that had one of those as well. The next tablet, if they decide to go that route again, the next Chromebook, the next all that stuff. All those devices sharing that processing power and that processing style, so the way it dialogues information to itself and the way it processes that information is going to be the same regardless of which device you use. So, for example, just like the AirPods, Quick Pair, all that stuff, Pixel Buds can do that, but it's just software through Bluetooth 5.0 or above. So it doesn't actually work with every device necessarily the way it should. It's a little choppy still, even though it works most of the time. So imagine a Tensor lineup where all of these devices have the same processing style and the same processing family, so therefore they're going to interact with each other as if it was one large device. First huge implication that I'm really excited about actually is being able to finally get the Android 12 is extremely polished, which I really like, and I miss that about the Apple ecosystem. I was an Apple super fan for a long time. Still love Steve Jobs. He's one of my top 5 heroes. You know, I've read his autobiography, all that stuff. So I love what he did. That's why I loved Apple. But when he passed away, they kind of got away from his mentality and some of that stuff. So, and that's when I discovered Pixel anyway. So, but I've really missed that polished experience that comes with Apple. So I'm hoping that this Tensor processor plus Android 12 is going to imply that whether we get like a Pixel Slate 2.0 or whatever the next Pixel book is, that kind of thing, that this is going to be a huge step up in the Google family and being able to process information much quicker and be much more reliable and much more polished. So the other implication I want to talk about is actually something that happened as I was shooting this video. My Pixel 4 XL got too hot sitting in the sun here in Virginia. It is 91 degrees outside right now, and obviously I'm in my car, so you know I'm above the windshield here. It overheated, and well, it didn't overheat necessarily. It just said device is too hot. Your quality may be affected with video. So what I'm hoping is that one of the corners that Google obviously has been cutting is the processor in these phones. Right now I'm shooting on a Pixel 3 XL, and then my 4 XL is the one I carry every day. But what I'm hoping is that this processor is going to be able to alleviate a lot of that power, so it's not going to overheat as quickly. These phones definitely overheat very, very fast. I don't know if you guys followed my Instagram a couple of years ago, but I did a whole photo shoot out in Virginia City, Nevada with, gravestones and old Western stuff. It's awesome. You can go find it, actually. It's still on my Instagram. But the iPhone 2, I had the iPhone 10, I had the Pixel 2 XL, because that's the newest things that were out at the time, and both of them overheated very, very quickly, although the 2 XL disabled itself much more than the iPhone did. So a lot of those pictures ended up being the iPhone ones because the Pixel 2 XL was just not working very well at all. It kind of disabled itself. But what I'm hoping is that this processor is not only going to create a family of Google devices that all communicate the same way and you can interact with the same way, so therefore you don't have to like figure it out, you don't have to like set up your settings every time, like none of that stuff. It's going to be the same interaction from face to machine. But it's also, I'm hoping, going to, like I said, alleviate some of that stress from the processor, or at least power through it. So we've got an F350 now, not a Prius, and hopefully kind of power through some of that and be able to, be used in much more professional situations, like maybe being outside or kayaking or skiing or that. I've always wanted something I can take with me doing stuff like hiking or adventuring or road tripping, that kind of thing, that I don't have to like charge every 30 seconds or worry about overheating a lot, which is what every Pixel up until the 4a 5G, it does overheat, but it doesn't disable itself. So that's props to there. But every phone before the 4XL has had that issue. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a really good update as far as that goes. But yeah, just a couple quick thoughts. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And remember to subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. If I can do that, then I can go live when I go to New York City this fall and pick up the Pixel 6 that I'm going to order. So yeah, feel free to share this channel. I do a lot of stuff like this. I'm very active on Twitter as well. But most importantly, subscribe so I can get to that 1,000 and I can live stream my Pixel pickup. So that's it. I'll talk to you guys later.